felt, got it. Can we tap? Got it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Just things start going your way and you start getting the good bounces and, kind of just felt lucky to be in the playoff. Just the way things kind of went at the end and then finally made a putt.
I was going to say that putt,
Mhm.
that 23-foot birdie putt in that playoff hole. Just take me through what was going through your mind when you were in the playoff there with Cheyenne, Offa, and Emily.
Well, obviously hit a really good shot. The 18th hole, getting it up on that shelf was a pretty big deal. So I hit a really good shot to be there. And the putt, it was just one of those, I saw the read, there's been a couple putts I've made throughout my career that, I've called my caddy off and said, I got it, and that was just one of them. I saw the line, saw the break. And, the hardest part I think over here is getting it to the hole. And I did that.
And then being able to walk away your first win as an LPGA mom, what did it mean to you when you were finally able to see your daughter again holding the trophy?
I couldn't watch when Cheyenne was putting. I couldn't watch it, and it was more the after of when I went back and kind of the response of it, and some of the other girls that have kids, just how cool that they thought it was and how proud they were of me, and because they know how hard it is and how hard it is to come back and to continue to play with kind of all the extra demands that go on in life now. So it was really cool. Chesney still doesn't really understand it, exactly what I do, but she will one day.
I remember you going home and having that banner across your front doorstep.
Yeah.
What was that like just when you went home eventually and saw your family after your win?
It was cool. My husband did that sign for me, and I had some neighbors come over and congratulate me, which was cool because I don't think they really knew who lived next door to them because we were gone so much. So just the reach of it, you just kind of realize how many people are paying attention, and to be able to celebrate, go home and celebrate with my husband and my daughter, and just know, all the sacrifices and all the hard work that it pays off. And
you talk about how much you love coming back here to Scotland. What is it about Scotland that not only you love, but you play very well here?
Just the creativity of the golf itself. The golf course is going to play different every day you see it. I love the creative side. I love, I can play it off of this ridge, or I can hit this chip shot. It's going to bounce left and it's going to get on the green and go right. I love how much more creative you can be here. And I think, just my toughness, you have to be tough here. You're going to play in the elements at some point, and you have to love it. I think there's a lot of people that are taken out of the tournaments because they don't necessarily love playing in the rain and playing in the wind. So it just kind of all suits me and my personality, I guess.
And before I open it up, just Dunbarney Links, this is a new course to everyone. You've been able to play, I know, a practice round, you just got off of the Pro-Am, but what do you think of this new course?
It's amazing. I'd say anybody that's coming over for a trip, you need to come play here. It's a newer design, obviously, but it still has the old links feel to it. It's a pretty good walk. It's a pretty good hike. It's a pretty good walk. But other than that, you hit a lot of different shots. You got to hit some long ones, hit some short ones as well. There's some really good short holes on this golf course. So, looking forward to, we haven't had much wind the last couple of days, but it's coming. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to play in that.
All right.
Stacy, one of the features of this golf course, I think there's 4 short par 4s. Is that something you like to see on a golf course? Is a bit risk and reward in some holes?
I do. I think I don't think a hole has to be 450 yards for it to be a great hole. You look at what is it? I think it's 11 out there with all the bunkering. I mean, that's a hard little golf hole. It's a 300, I think it's 310, 320. I mean, it's a really short hole, but you can get into a lot of trouble. So I love it. I think it gives you a little bit of a break. You're not just feeling like you're slugging 4 irons and 5 irons into holes all day. And I just like the creativity side of it, because you're going to see some people might hit irons off the tee. Some people might hit a fairway wood or a driver further up the right. So it's just going to show there's a lot of different ways to do it.
I think last year's event, obviously, the conditions were tough. A tough golf course contributed to slow play.
Yeah.
How have things been in the 12 months? Has it got better?
No, probably not. I think, obviously it got a lot of attention last week. This golf course is a really long walk. So I think rounds are going to be pretty slow again, but I do, people are paying attention. Our officials have gotten onto people a little bit more. I know there's been more fines and more penalties have been given out over the last year. So maybe it's gotten a little bit better, but this golf course probably isn't going to help us this week.
Just to
Mhm.
continue on that, Stacy, did you get any sort of comeback from that from other players?
I did actually. It's I was worried that a lot of times when you say things like that, your people are going to say you're complaining and this and that. And so I was a little bit worried talking about it, but the response was actually great. People are like, I'm so happy you talked about it. I'm so, glad you put it out there that things need to get better. And, Atha actually came up and talked to me and asked how she could get better, I said how she could get faster, and how do you and Travis come up with kind of the shot you're going to hit so quickly, just kind of asked how she could kind of speed herself up. So which I thought that was pretty cool, kind of taking ownership of it and realizing that, she's probably going to play better if she does play faster. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. I think for Atha, it was just, just making a decision. I think the hardest part about links golf is you can be in a spot and hit 4 or 5 different shots. And so it's really just picking the first. I really see shots. And so I'm going to pick the first shot I see. I'm not going to, a lot of times you second guess it and you try to pick, you end up picking something else that's the wrong thing. Your first instincts are usually right. And that's what I kind of told her, was to trust her instinct, trust your first instinct, and, try not to overcomplicate it.
Okay, my question was going to be about
Mhm.
the toughness you acknowledge you have.
Mhm.
Does that date back to your health history in your back?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had growing up, wearing a hard plastic brace around your torso for 18 hours a day. And it originally it was supposed to be for 2 years, and it would end up being 6.5. And so for basically 4.5 years, we would go to the doctor every 3 months. And I was hoping that, okay, this would be the appointment I get to stop wearing my brace. And so that went on for 4 years. And if you don't have enough toughness, you're never going to get through that. It was, and my mom, I think, instilled a lot of it. She just very matter of fact, this is what we're going to do. The doctor says we need to keep wearing it. We're going to keep wearing it. And so, I think a lot of that just really shaped me into the person that I am.
Just a
Mhm.
little bit more on the slow play.
Mhm.
Do you think that the discipline regime, the punishment regime should be
Mhm.
harsher? You say that there have been more over the past years,
Mhm.
but would you like to see it tightened up even more?
Yeah, I think I would like to see is more kind of spot timing. They've implemented a policy this year where you can be timed when you're not out of position if an official happens to be there. And if you're over, it's just a fine right now. But I would like you to see, if an official is there and you take too long, you should get shots. I would honestly like to see that, because I think as a tour, we need to make this game more enjoyable, make it more fun to watch. It's just, I think with COVID and all that, we could potentially be losing people coming to tournaments, losing eyeballs watching us. And, I would like to see us be on the forefront of making the game faster and making it more fun. The guys I played with today, one is a member at Crail, and he said their time limit is 3 hours. They play, and granted, it's teetering's really close, it's a short walk, but that's how the game should be played. It's enjoyable. You can take 3-4 hours out of your day, and then you can still go do whatever else you need to do, instead of right now, you're literally spending half of your day at the golf course, and not a lot of people have time for that.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Beth Ann, I know you have a couple questions. If you'd like to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I almost want to keep on the slow play topic, but I have 2 other topics. I guess my first one is, when we look at Nelly Corda's success, winning the Olympic gold, and we go back to you because you were the last American to be number one in the world and have this kind of success. If she were to say, "Hey, Stacy, let's go to lunch," what advice would you give her?
Be very diligent and picky about your time. Do the things, you need to keep playing good golf. So do the things you need to do to play good golf. And if there's time for extra stuff outside of that, do it because the tour needs you to do it. But I mean, most important, I would tell her is that you keep playing good golf. And she needs to do the media. She needs to do a little bit of extra stuff because we need her to do that as a tour. That's what I would tell her.
And then just going back to the Olympics as an Olympian yourself, obviously it was a fantastic, exciting finish. But if you were czar, would you change the format at all? And if so, how?
I would like to see some sort of team element to it. You look at, in swimming, they've added, the combined relays. I just don't know how you would do it with the guys playing the week ahead of us. But I would like to see some sort of team element to it with the guys. But then again, to do that, you have to be playing at the same time. So I don't know how you would do that right now. I mean, I do think a stroke play event, you're going to get the best player is going to win. And that's what we want out of the Olympics is you want your best players to win. So, so it would be like an additional medal, not just you got to keep the 72-hole stroke play, but I would like to see an additional like team element to it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Beth Ann. Martin?
Can I go back one more on the stroke play? Was it Carlota Saganda? Did she have a penalty this year?
She got one at the match play. She had a loss of hole,
Yeah,
and it lost the match.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a high profile. Golf
Right.
more of that type of thing for the message to get through.
I think it does. I mean, it's harsh. I think everybody initially was like, wow. And I think hers was even in that format. I don't know if they were out of position or not, but it is harsh and it looks harsh to the media and to everybody that's on the outside. But I do think we need that because you start playing with shots that affects where you are on the leaderboard, it affects how much money you're making, it affects your status at the end of the year. I mean, that affects things a lot more than $1,000 fine does ultimately. So I'm okay with it, and I'd like to see more of it.
I just want to go back real quick to your play coming into this event here, T12, T9, T12. Last year, you felt that momentum from that week in Toledo. Are you feeling the same kind of momentum? I know there's been things going on at home that's kind of kept you busy, but do you feel that momentum and comfortable in your game as we gear up for this week?
Yeah, a little bit, maybe not quite as much. I took the last 3 weeks off, just had a busy summer, so I just needed some time off. So maybe not quite the momentum I had last year, but definitely just the confidence of seeing putts go in and shots kind of starting to go where you want them to go. So yeah, I mean, I've, been trending in the right direction this summer and, really kind of looking for Solheim in the next month. That's really kind of been on the back of my mind for a long time. So, so that's really kind of what I'm playing for. Obviously want to be in contention, want to have a chance to win, but, Solheim's in the back of my mind too.
You stole my question from me. I know we've talked about it a couple times since we've come back here in Scotland, but how much is it on your mind knowing that the qualification period is fastly approaching?
Very much. I've been paying attention to it these last couple weeks that I haven't been playing, and I really want to play in Toledo. I really do, just with the way things went in Scotland for me, and then being with Marathon now for a few years and in Toledo where I was born, where I have a ton of family. It would really mean a lot to be on that team.
I know, Beth Ann, you have one more?
I couldn't resist asking a slow play question.
Come on.
How has it evolved since you came out on tour?
When I came out on tour, there were I would say there were a handful of slow players, and now there's a handful of fast players.
Wow.
I think that's the best way to put it.
And what do you attribute that to?
Just I think it's just kind of the realization of it. I think, you start one player you play with is kind of slow, and then, there's a lot of players that their pace of play just kind of depends who they play with. If they play with somebody that's slow, they kind of take their time, and you get you walk slow. You don't do a whole lot fast. It's just, I wouldn't say it's not really a courtesy thing. I just think it's kind of just the way we've been trending. And gosh, I remember when I first came on tour, you'd play with some of these older players, and I felt slow. You just could never keep up with them. So it's little things. If you're going to be the first to hit, you need to walk faster. You need to go get to your ball. And if you're the last to hit, you better be pulling a club out when that second person is hitting. It's little things like that is what, keeps the whole pace of play going.
Who were the fastest veteran players when you were a young
All of them. I mean, honestly, you think back, I think of some of the older players I played with. I mean, they were all fast. I mean, a lot of your slower players are, players that are younger than me that have come out after me. And, but there hasn't been a whole lot of push the last 5 or 6 years to get people to play faster. So, so if there's no penalties for it, and I don't think our timing policy is still where it needs to be, where, people still kind of know how to work the system and get away with it. So, I just think it needs to be a courtesy thing, because I think we need to realize as a tour, we're going to lose people watching us, and we're going to lose fans because we're taking so long to play. And I think that's what needs to really be hammered home to people is we need to do it. We need to do it more from that side than anything.
Thank you.
All good? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stacy.
Thank you.